What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Another morning, but it might not be the best morning for some people, as yesterday the Switch app was released to the public, at least to a point where you can download the app and you can check it out, but ahead of the Splatoon 2 release. Not much you can do without Splatoon 2 right now, but for those of us who have had Splatoon 2 for review purposes, you may have noticed some of the videos popping up. In fact, places like Eurogamer, GameXplain, Engadget, even here on this channel, you saw a demonstration of that voice app, and you may understand at this point why some people are kind of losing their minds right now. And yeah, that's what we're going to start with today. We're going to talk about the Nintendo Switch online app that functions alongside of games like Splatoon 2. In fact, Splatoon 2 is like their big launch game for the service. It's going to come out alongside of it. You can already download the app, but when Splatoon 2 goes live and you can play it and it's released to the stores, you can jump right on and start up. And I'm going to be interested to see how it functions as we go along with the public. But for now, there are some key features that a lot of places are pointing out. This Switch app needs some work. So as you probably saw in the video I posted yesterday, where myself and Max from Dreamcast Guy tried to do some stuff with it, and we had some issues. One right now anyway, I mean, they'll probably update it. We can't do any matchmaking from a private room, so we can't get into a lobby and then go, okay, let's jump into matchmaking. That's just something we can't do right now. Maybe they update it. I feel like that's an easy update. So let's move on to some of the stuff that really has people just confused. Some of the big ones include not being able to use anything else on your phone without the app just shutting off, basically. You cannot talk, and then let's say you get a phone call. As soon as your screen changes from that entire setup for the Nintendo Switch app, your voice and their voices cut out completely. So if you get a text message notification, same thing. GameXplain even figured out that if you pull the notification bar down, guess what? Chat stops completely. So we're running into an issue right now where this application seems heavily limited to the point where other solutions are just downright better right now. I mean, they even have it to the point where if your screen fades out, like let's say it goes to sleep for some reason, you lose it. You can't turn the display off. So you're going to have to probably have your phone plugged in, or it will probably lose battery life pretty quick. As you probably know, any of us with a smartphone knows, the screen takes up a good chunk of the battery. In some cases, it is 60% of the battery drain when you're using your phone is because the screen is illuminated. And if you've been on the internet at all the past day or so, you know everyone online is freaking out about this app because it seems like Nintendo was doing such a good job going forward with the Switch, where they were changing, they were turning the corner, becoming more modern. It's a much sleeker looking system than the Wii U. The marketing is way better. And then we come out with this very convoluted, I don't know, it seems more complicated than it needs to be. I mean, if you look at the setup that you need to go through, because keep in mind, you have to somehow mix game audio and then, of course, the audio from your teammates because it's coming from two different sources. You have to do some crazy stuff, wiring, or maybe a Bluetooth transceiver of some kind that happens to pick up both. It's way more work than it should be. What should happen here, and a lot of people pretty much agree unanimously, you plug your headset into the Switch, and then you talk, and that's it. Or you sync up a Bluetooth headset if you're on the couch 8 feet away or something. You sync it up, you talk, everyone's happy. I do want to make mention, though, the companion app actually is very good. So I was talking about yesterday as well that the companion app will let you go through, see all your stats, your best scores in certain maps, the weapon you do the best with, even stats from your previous 50 battles. So the companion app is great. It works well. You can look at all the weapons you have, your experience, the money you have. Everything there with Splatoon 2 works well. Max did point one thing out to me that would be cool is if they go forward and they make it so that the phone app, when you're doing Splatoon 2, for example, instead of being a dedicated voice receiver where you have to see all your teammates on the screen, their little bubbles will float around, maybe something like you have the map in front of you for Splatoon 2 so that while everyone is inking the entire field, you can see where everyone is, or at least where all the ink is, so you can kind of go to certain points that you need to be. That was a cool example, and I think Nintendo, while right now the app is extremely rough, specifically for voice chat, I think that it's an app that can change. Keep that in mind. If you go back and look at the 360 when it first came out, the Blade system, super primitive. I liked it then because it was quick, super primitive though compared to what it ended up. Who knows what's going to happen with this app, but I will say, instead of heavily complaining online, make your voice heard by going into the app, going to settings, other, and then go to feedback. Leave feedback for Nintendo that is correct. Don't just type in, "This thing is terrible, fix it." Tell them how they can fix it. Say something like, "I want to be able to just chat on the tablet and not have to use a smartphone app." Especially if you don't have a smartphone. What do you do then? I don't know. But that is my advice. Go on there, leave feedback constructively, not like someone would in comments of a YouTube channel's video. Just go in there and try to be constructive. Tell them how things could be better. Even tell them something you like so they know you're not just there to destroy them over every little thing. That's my advice, though. Keep it constructive, and really, that feedback button is there for a reason, because they want to hear our opinion on it. Next up, we're going to talk about Atari Box. We've already talked about it a lot, right? They've come out with renderings of the system. They've come out with production boxes of the system, how it's going to look, current games, older games, all that great stuff, right? Sounds interesting. We don't know a lot about it, but one thing we've found out now that was kind of rumored for a bit, and now Eurogamer has essentially confirmed it, is that they're looking to crowdsource this in some way. Then initially it was a note sent out to investors in French, and it was translated, and Eurogamer just wanted to double check everything. It turns out, yes, it's confirmed. They are in some way, at least they've told their investors, looking to offset some of the financial responsibility to bring this system to market, whether it's from R&D or just production in general, which is very expensive, packaging, shipping, building, all these things. They're essentially looking to take a mass list of pre-orders through crowdsourcing. At least that's the way I see it, unless there are tiers where you just don't get any system. You put $5 in and they send you a thank you note, like some Kickstarters and Indiegogos do. In this case, they look like they're going to try to pull money in from interested parties to bring it to market. And that is kind of a red flag for a lot of people. I've seen this, where it's a problem that they're asking for money ahead of time for something that person may not even like, because, well, we don't even know what it is yet. We think we do. We think we know it's semi-modern hardware based on what we're saying, but we don't even know what games it's going to play. It doesn't seem to have a card slot other than an SD card in the back, so who knows? I would like to know more information, and if it looks interesting and good, and they start sending kind of press samples out to different publications so we can take a look at it, different places that do video. Hey, you can send me one. I'll take it apart and we'll see what's in there. That's great. I would like to see what it is. And you know what? If you need to crowdsource it and it wouldn't be able to come to market anyway, put it out there. Let people decide with their wallets. If they don't want it because it doesn't look good, then they just won't back it and it won't come to market. But it is a little weird, confidence-wise, for Atari to do that, or at least whatever company is behind, Infro Games or whatever company is behind them at this point. It seems odd that they don't have enough confidence in their console to just bring it to market themselves. We'll have to see, though, about this crowdsourcing thing, because we still have not technically heard publicly from Atari yet. Maybe that was an idea that they decided to scrap, and they'll just push forward with financial investings and just push this thing out. Next up, let's talk about Final Fantasy VII Remake, a game that's kind of fallen by the wayside now, right? We haven't heard much about it, and what we have heard isn't good. Them doing things like firing, or at least letting go the company that was originally working on it, pulling it in-house, taking the developer, or at least the person overseeing Mobius Final Fantasy, moving them to oversee Final Fantasy VII Remake. It seems like it's kind of all over the place. However, according to Tetsuya Nomura, it may be further along right now in terms of game aspects than Kingdom Hearts 3 is, and we're expecting that game next year. This was an interview with Famitsu. Tetsuya Nomura decided to tell us this. Although there are also parts of Final Fantasy VII Remake, such as cutscenes, that are ahead of Kingdom Hearts 3, we're in the process of switching from outsourced development to development in-house, so we don't expect to release any relevant information for some time. And this seems a little disappointing to a degree, because it sounds like they were at least making progress on the game itself, right? Like, something just wasn't clicking between the company they were outsourcing to, who was also behind .hack, and the company in-house. I don't know if it was communication back and forth taking too long. Maybe they weren't happy with some of the stuff that was showing up on their doorstep that night, depending on time zone differences. It seems interesting that they decided to, what looks to be, give them more work, in this case by getting rid of the third-party company that was helping them, and pull everything in-house, and what appears to be extending the development time, because they have to go from everything was outsourced, let's get all these files in, let's go through them, let's figure it all out, and just letting the other people finish it. It seems weird. Also, they do go through the person they appointed from the Mobius Final Fantasy, Naoki Hamaguchi, kind of talking about how they are more about running the employees, not so much about, getting on the ground level and programming or anything. They are there to make sure this gets done sooner than later. It sounds like they have some experience with Mobius Final Fantasy in getting things done quickly. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see. At this point, I was expecting Final Fantasy VII Remake to give us some kind of announcement at E3, anything, a date, something. It's going to be episodic apparently, so we need the first episode soonish if it's going to finish on PlayStation 4, because if this is a thing where we get the episode and then we have to wait months for the next one, I mean, are we going to get to a point where the PS5 is coming out and we're finishing it up, or it's not even done yet? Who knows? I was expecting it to be out before Kingdom Hearts 3, but I might be wrong about that one. Last bit of news today, guys, comes from Media Create. You know, the thing we talk about seemingly every week, right? Whether it's about the Switch, the PS4, well, really recently it's been about the Switch or the PS4 for sales in Japan. But guess what? This week, it's not about either. This week, it's about the 3DS. And here are the sales charts. We have the 3DS at 58,559. The PS4, which has the Pro and the regular one added together at 36,218. And the Nintendo Switch right behind it at 31,906. The regular PS4 sold 28,569, and the Pro sold 7,649. And of course, those added together are more than the Switch individually, though the Switch outsells either of them. And now you may be asking, well, how is the 3DS? What happened here? How did it jump so much? Because it went from 14,890 to 58,559 between 2 weeks. Like 1 week it's that, the next week it is tripled the amount. Well, a little thing called the 2DS XL, or the 2DS LL known there, came out. Not only that, but as you see here with these game charts, the Hey Pikmin actually cruised onto the scene there at 79,517. Above that, though, Final Fantasy XII, The Zodiac Age, and managed to almost get to 100,000 units in its first week. That's pretty impressive, actually. And then below that, Ever Oasis at 15,907. Yes, this is it was a 3DS's week. I don't know if it'll continue, but if you ever release a new system, a 2DS XL, a 2DS LL, it's going to sell here in the States as well. Yeah, you're going to probably top the sales charts. I'll be curious to see how it does going forward, and I'm going to be very curious. This is where things get very interesting, guys. Next week, we will have Media Create sales for Splatoon 2's launch. And that's going to make things interesting because, as far as I can tell, according to several reports, Nintendo is looking to have units in stock more so than usual for the Switch and Splatoon 2's opening day. I keep hearing about how GameStop, Best Buy, Walmart, Target, everyone around me is going to have multiple systems, which of course we'll have to line up for. But I have to imagine they have their eyes set on Japan right now with Splatoon 2. So I hope for Nintendo's sake that next week we have a much larger number than this. I hope for their sake they have a number closer to the 3DS mark, closer to 50,000, because Splatoon 2 is going to top the charts big time. Even if one day is included on Media Creates, expect that to be massive. And that's it for Newswave today, guys. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know what you think about any of the stuff we talked about today, whether it is the Nintendo Switch Online app. A lot of you guys were very vocal in my video yesterday, so I assume some of you guys want to talk about it down in the comments. I would suggest, like I said, though, use the feedback option, leave some constructive criticism for Nintendo so that they can try to evolve and make this app better, or at least give us the option of just using the Switch and not even using our phones. Also, let me think about the Doom update. Go check it out. It's massive, actually, at this point. And then also let me know what you think about Media Create sales with 3DS coming out of nowhere, massive sales. And then next week, do you guys think it's going to be big for Nintendo with Splatoon 2? Are they going to have enough units out there to top the sales charts? Because the PS4 has been picking up. Can they put enough Switches out there to top that Media Create sales chart? That's it for now, guys. I'll see you next time.